This is Level Up Success Podcast with Neth and Truth.
Hey, how you doing, friends and family? This is the Level Up
Success Podcast.
and welcome to another episode where we always bring knowledge and power to our listener. So tell me now, how we gonna start this now?
How you guys doing today, man? We're doing awesome here. So, we come another day, just trying to level up the mindset, trying to, get, our people with a positive mindset to want to proceed in life. You know what I'm saying? So, we do have a guest today. We are doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing it through our broadcast right now. We have a guest here. Why don't you tell us about yourself? Give us your name, your background, where you're from.
Yeah. So my name is Manny. My background is I'm Dominican, actually born in the Dominican Republic. I migrated here in 95 when I was 9 years old, going on 10.
Okay.
Right now, like my field, I'm in, you would say, kind of like the real estate business, the commercial side of it, multifamily, apartment side of things. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome, man. How was it transitioning from the Dominican Republic to the United States?
Yeah, so it was very, very difficult for me. Because when you're in the Dominican Republic, they show you downtown 42nd Street. That shit looks dope.
Yeah.
Awesome, right? So when I got
You see all them bright lights, like, yo, yeah, what's this?
La calle está de oro everywhere, ¿verdad?
crazy, I migrated to New York in 95, and it was beautiful when I got there. It was snowing. It was picture perfect. Then any New York could tell you after 2 or 3 days, and that starts to die down. The slush. So I migrated to the Bronx. I lived in pretty close to the bridge, the Washington. Is it called the Washington? The 181st Bridge?
Yeah. It is called the Washington Bridge. I don't know why they call it the same bridge as.
Really?
Yeah. It's called the Washington Bridge.
Called the Washington.
Oh, wow.
The heights to the Bronx
Mhm.
and vice versa.
Yeah, I live.
Yeah.
They call it Washington Bridge.
Yeah, if you know that area, I think it's called. I moved there. It's called. Is it Montgomery Avenue on there? You got
Okay.
projects right there. So, man, I cried every single day. And I was like, yo, this ain't it. I was like,
This ain't the place to be.
Oh, remember, you was 10 at that age, too, right? So it must have been tough. I cannot imagine since I was born and grew up over here. So I tend to ask when people from another country, not even DR, I usually ask them that question, how it is, because
Yeah.
I cannot imagine myself at that age go to another country. Especially with the picture. I imagine the picture you New York being so different from what you really thought, right?
Mhm.
yeah, very, very different. Although New York has very nice place, and I'm not saying that the Bronx is bad or anything. It's just, I in the Dominican Republic, I lived in a big house in the Dominican Republic, and it was just me and my grandma, but it was a big house, spacious. I mean, to put it into perspective, the house that I lived in afterwards was sold, and 2 houses were built behind it and still had space.
Wow.
So when I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx, and it was like the gates in front of the windows, that was all new to me. Very felt very jail like to me.
Yeah.
Look back as very jail like.
Okay.
But
okay.
what about you? And what about school? When you started school, because that's another thing I usually tend to ask
Same thing.
for people that come to this country.
Yeah, same thing. School, cried every day. Like, cause they got the gates in the windows. In the schools. I mean, I guess for safety reasons they had that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was very, very tough. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like school. When I went to school at all. Through high school. Now that I look back, and I didn't like it at all.
Mm. How long? Like, how long specifically after you got to New York, you was just like, yo, I'm over it? Because I ask this because I know that in the beginning, people are happy, like, oh yeah, I'm going to New York, and you feel that you look at all the positives, like like the light doesn't go off. I don't know if you had that issue in DR, you
Well,
know.
yeah, yeah. So the positive is that you open a fridge is on, and there's
Word.
yeah, if you're Dominican, you know that the lights go out, especially like the time that that I grew up in DR. We had lights. I remember like a government pushed like a thing where like they on this thing like Sundays light is on 24 hours, and that was a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, when you get to New York, even being as American, and probably you travel to other places, like having ice readily available like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
You don't have that out there. So yeah, it's very tough, like getting used to it. Yeah, you're thankful for those things, like you turn on the TV, it turns on.
Okay. So where are you living now?
I live in Winston Salem, North Carolina, and
Mm.
I'll give everybody a little back history of Winston Salem. If you ever smoked a cigarette, it most likely came from here. So
Mm.
cigarettes, that's where I live. That's whereas if Reynolds, that's who owns all the major cigarette brands. If you ever smoked a cigarette, most likely it came from where I live right now.
Okay. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So like what I mean, what transitioned you to decide, like, you know what, I lived in New York. What made you transition to go into North Carolina? I know there's a story because I know you and Truth, you guys have history. So
Yeah, we actually grew up in the same neighborhood. That's why, man, it's so funny. Manny, he was like we was in a building, but he was like the next door across. That's why we met, because my father and his stepfather know each other.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think we went to that one of the BJ or Costco, one of those stores. That's where we
Yeah.
first met.
That's a funny immigrant story right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. His father, rest in peace, to his father, great man.
Thank you.
Hanged out with my stepfather for the longest, and one day my stepfather was like, my neighbor, he has a son, you guys should hang out. And I thought it was like kind of corny, like, what is he setting up us on a date or something? That's how he put it out there, like. And then
yeah.
I remember, like, I was always bumping music, and I would hear like his music from time to time. I was more disrespectful with it than him. He knows it.
Oh yeah, because that's another thing. My bedroom his bedroom's on the other side. That's crazy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time remember cuando estaba, was it during the garbage strike? We were sharing by the fire escape one time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were like neighbor, like mad close, like.
Wow.
But in that window, like that, my bedroom, the other door, the other apartment, his bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy, like. Yeah, but yeah, we
we
grew in that neighborhood for a long time.
So back then it was I think the closest BJ's was New Jersey. You had to go to New Jersey. My family didn't have cars or anything like that. My mother didn't drive. My stepfather didn't drive. Of course I wasn't old enough to drive. So my stepfather was like, yo, we're gonna go to BJ's, and I was like, yo, BJ's, I only heard stories about BJ's. If you didn't drive, you wasn't making it. Now there's one right there in the Bronx. And
yeah.
So yeah, we went on a car ride. It was a little awkward, but we went out there to the BJ's, and I was, that's how we got to like actually meet. Although living, room to room basically for a long time.
Yeah.
So
it happens like that. When you play the music loud and to try to be disrespectful, you did it on purpose, or it was just like
Nah, bro, I'm Dominican.
No, I used to blast the music too. I felt kind of bad. I never knew, bro.
Yeah, we don't know.
I started to notice it. When he started blasting his music. I was like, damn it, maybe I shouldn't be blasting the music. When he started blasting music, I started thinking, damn, I gotta stop doing that myself too. But like you said, we Dominicans, so
Hear the bass,
Yeah,
like
it was just normal. Everybody out there competing with who has a lot of speakers.
yeah.
the loud facts, man. Man, I caught a little system, and I was open.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. So, what? So yeah, I know that you transitioned from New York. So you like how old were you when you left? Like, what's the story there? Like when you left New York and you made the decision. Like, what transpired that gave you that decision? Like, you know what, I gotta go to North Carolina.
It's kind of like a long story. So, like for instance, I didn't choose to. So, like people here ask me like when they hear my accent and they hear like how I move, they be like, "Oh, you're a New Yorker," and I'm like, "No, I'm not a New Yorker. Like I didn't choose to go to New York. Right? My mother immigrated and brought me there. So,
Yeah.
I don't knock on New York. I'm very thankful for the things that I learned, the people that I met in New York, and everything. But it wasn't home for me. So,
Okay.
about 17 years old, kind of like that really lost era of like you're finishing high school, you're kind of like trying to find out what you're doing. One of
Yeah.
my best friend at the time, his cousin was having a Sweet 16 in North Carolina, and he was,
Mm.
yo, let's get Greyhound tickets and go out there. And I remember I was dead broke. I probably had like $20 to my name. I mean, that didn't work. And I asked my mother, and the ticket was, I remember it was a Greyhound ticket. We went down there to 42nd Street and we bought the ticket. I think it was like $104
Wow.
on a
Okay.
back to on a Greyhound. And my mother was, she was like, "What?" Like she wasn't with it. Like she like you and your friend about to get on a Greyhound, pal campo, because that's what parents called it. So we
No, anywhere. Not, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Anywhere that's not New York is a campo. Because when I forgot about the house in PA, people used to call it campo too. So I understand where that coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere that's not New York City to a Dominican is El Campo. So we New York, and that's like the five boroughs, Bronx, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we I came down here with my friend for the Sweet 16. And if anybody has ever purchased a property or like bought a house, like when you walk in it and you feel like this is home, that's what North Carolina felt to me at 17 years old. So
Okay.
yeah, so at 17 years old, I knew I wanted to live in North Carolina, but I still had like my life in New York. So
Of course.
there was a lot of things that happened before I
Okay. Okay.
did it about 4 years ago.
All right. All right.
I'm 30.
So
Yeah.
huh? Okay. What as far as so you went there for the first time at 17, but you still haven't decided to move there.
I did no.
Did
I decided that I wanted to live here.
okay.
I came here, but I didn't have the funds. I didn't
Of course.
the resources to make it happen. And at the time, it would have been something very taboo for my family for me to, move to another state. And my family, is in New York, so it would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So you just try to make it work over here for now because you think you have a wait. Since you think you have any idea that might have happened, why you decided to do over here in New York, why to make it work, or did you have it from the beginning plan to work over here in New York and then move?
I had a dream. I had a dream to get that feeling of this is home for a long time. And it was just a dream for, I mean, from 17, and I came here 4 years ago. I'm 36 years old. So I came here like
Okay.
32, 30, 30, I was like 32, 31 when I came out here. So for the longest, it was just a dream. Just
Yeah.
it was just a feeling. So it wasn't something that I thought I was gonna be actually able to go ahead and do. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so ultimately my question would be is like so how was it that transpired? So I know I mean Truth was telling me briefly about it, like you had like a a job here, like you had like a career set, and something transpired, and it kind of like propelled you to. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point in my life, I was actually like, living at mom's house, like anybody that's like, knows the struggle, living at mom's house, just lost, not knowing what to
Hmm.
do. I had some money, I was working, and I was ready to go. Like I was ready to make it happen. I had the funds. I had my best friend that brought me to that Sweet 16, he was already out here. So he was
Mm.
like, hey, yo, bro, I'm paying 400 for an apartment. And he's showing me like how the apartments are down here. Like the fuck, I'm sorry. Apartment,
No,
You
you
good?
could
You
do. You
good, bro?
good. You good.
yeah, they got a basketball court. There's a pool. And I'm like, you paying $400 for that, bro? I'm blowing $400 on bottles and chilling with dudes out here. So I'm like, man, I can't. I had some money, and I was like, okay, I have this money. Maybe I could go out there, and I think I could survive for like a year. So I budgeted out where I was like $400 a month, groceries, whatever. I was like, I got enough money to like be looking for a job for like a year, right? And then I had my friend, which I thought would hook me up with a job, right? Because that's what friends do. So yeah, I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna grab a big old North Face backpack. I'm gonna throw some clothes in it. I'm gonna go, but it didn't plan out like that because at the time I was, going through a lot of relationship problems, and I met,
Mm.
which now is my wife, a very nice lady. She's
Okay.
and I met her, and those plans got put on hold, and
Mm.
came from way better situation than me. And I was like, okay, let me hold off. Maybe this relationship is gonna work. So me and her ended up moving in together. That money that was gonna go towards the North Carolina fund, we blew that moving in together. And one day we were having dinner at Cheesecake Factory up in when they built it up in the what is it called, Ridgeview, right there, Yonkers.
Rich Hill. Rich
Yeah,
Hill.
Rich.
Ridge Hill. At the time,
Yeah.
wasn't as big as it is now. We were one of the first. I feel like I was one of the first people that was dining out there. We was going to Yard House up there, and we was
No,
going.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, we was going up there early because she's from White Plains and Westchester, that area. And one day I was like, "Yo, it was like a Thursday, and I was like, "Yo, you want to go to North Carolina Drive?" And she was like, "You for real?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm for real." She was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah."
That just came out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like,
Yeah, I was like, she was like, let me call my parents, tell them to pack us some fruits and some energy drinks, and let's drive down there. So we end up driving down here, and to surprise that friend of mine's. And when we come down here, he was leaving to Florida. So, but I knew his cousins from that Sweet 16, and his cousin
Mm.
very successful out here. They had a house, huge house, big. And we went out there. After my friends leaves, he leaves me keys to his apartment. We in his apartment, like I said, basketball court, pools, all this shit. And I'm like, man, it's nice down here. Like we could never afford something like that in New York or have something
Yeah.
like this in New York. So one of his cousins, I ended up hitting up one of his, so that girl, it was a girl from the Sweet 16. So the brother, very successful here, who later on becomes my real estate agent. I went to visit his house, and I was like, his name is Gary. So I was like, Gary, man, I think I want to come out here. And he looks at me dead in my eyes, and he tells me, Hector, I think you come down here in a year, you'll have a house down here. And I was like, nah, bro, I think like 5 years. So, so
Yeah.
it kind of like when I went back to New York, I was like to my wife, we ended up coming down here like 2 or 3 more times. She ends up liking it more and more, and it starts to kind of unfold a little bit more.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's how that's how it happened.
well, that's the best way to do it because I see people they just move and don't even think about it. At least you took your time to see around and actually took your warm. I don't know. I was gonna say why, but you wasn't married at that time. But you were you married at that time? I don't even remember.
No, no, we were very early stages of dating, and she comes from I come from a broken household. Like I live with my father wasn't around. She comes from father and mother around. Very well off, very at least better than me.
I understand. Yeah.
Than me. She had more to lose than me than coming out here, and she's become
Okay.
more successful than me out here. So
Okay.
it was very hard. Like our parents very traditional. It was very hard for me to tell her parents, "Hey, me and your daughter are about to like go find out what is this about." For me,
Especially
Yeah.
8 hours away from where they used to seeing her because
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
you were so close. I could imagine because I met your wife and I know how close she is with her parents.
yes.
So, oh, wow. But I mean, the good thing is you get along real good with her parent too.
Oh yeah,
So,
like her father is like my father. Like we hang out. He's not even like my father-in-law. Like we literally hang out. So, yeah.
no, I seen him because you invited me once. I know how you guys were. Remember we went to see the fight one time. You invited me over there, but no, I see how you guys trigger each other, and it was great. I mean, it was.
What fight you guys saw?
Oh my God, that was like
It was
7 years ago. That's
definitely Canelo. Like they're Mexican.
Canelo and Mayweather, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been Canelo Mayweather. Yeah, it's
I
definitely
think it might be that one.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a decent fight. I mean, Carlo was still young.
He was
I
yeah he was
so that.
he got thrown into the Lions Den at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I think right now, bro, Canelo. Well, I mean, obviously Mayweather's older now,
Or like
but.
prime Canelo versus a prime Floyd Mayweather, and you can't go back in time. So it will be yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been great to see.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger Canelo fan. I know we got an other topic, but it is what it is.
So yeah, well,
What you Mayweather, Manny?
Huh?
Wow, you Manny? Canelo or Mayweather?
Oh, Mayweather. I love everything about Mayweather. Yeah. Best defensive fighter of all time.
Yeah,
No,
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 you
I
can't
give you
knock
no
that. You can't
that I
knock
give
that.
you that defensive, offensive no, but defensive yes.
Oh, both. It's just people haven't seen him being very offensive because his opponents can't touch him. So why would he have to go on the offense?
Yo, we got about to have a debate about this, but we will leave it for some other time.
We need it for another time. Yeah.
Yeah. So so basically you got into business with somebody from out there. You said like who's your your
best
agent?
friend.
Yeah.
The agent, your best friend, cousin or something like that.
What was it? What was the question?
So no, my question like how you got put onto what you do now, like as far as your career.
I've never been. I would like to say at one time I would be put on. I've never been put on. So when I was in New York, my last two jobs were very corporate world. My last job, I work in well, my second to last job, right? I worked for. If you ever heard of SAG-AFTRA, that's the actors union. So
Okay.
yeah, we managed their retirement, the pension fund, and their health care.
Okay.
That was my second and last job. A very good job, union job, very good job. And then after that, they merged with actually mine was an actual SAG-AFTRA. It was uh, a union side of SAG-AFTRA. So then they
Okay.
SAG-AFTRA, and it was ran out of LA mainly. So a lot of us got that notice. I was only there for like a year and change. In back of my mind, that dream to go to North Carolina was still there, but I gave it another try. I gave it another try to go into a real estate company, which at that time I owned real estate, not successfully, not like how some people portray it, where it's
Yeah.
flip a house and boom, I got $200,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
not in that form. I own real estate in a very how would you say, like, very low key form, still not making a lot of money from it. So I was like, it was a commercial real estate company owned by a couple. So I got into that, and I started learning about that world. What made me like see what I had in a bigger picture. So it was my favorite job in New York. And then after I wasn't even there another year, and the couple, which were very nice people and very teaching people. They were an open book. They were super millionaires, man. They threw a party up in Westchester. We went to their house. It was very inspirational. I think, like, I mean, if they would have recorded a rap video in that mansion, it would have been crazy. That, like, that's how on that level those people were.
Yeah,
But yeah, they decided to shut down their business, retire, and that's when I was kind of like, okay, that's two strikes, Hector. You're gonna, of course, out of those two things, they give you your package. So I had some money
yeah,
for that. So I'm like, is this the time to do it? So I presented it to my wife, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. I came first. She stood behind because she still didn't have a job. I just had funds to be out here.
okay.
Friend, yeah, and then she's interviewing. At this time, your now interviews are being done through Zoom.
Okay.
So she was in.
All right. So it was during the pandemic.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Okay. It
Definitely,
was before that.
you
it was before the pandemic, right?
Okay.
get an interview over the phone, and it was hot.
Yeah. No. I know that started a little bit before that, but I was just curious and asking.
No, it wasn't during the pandemic, but it was definitely during a time where like you could get on a job interview on the phone, which
Yeah.
when I was growing up, you had to show up to an interview.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's way different. You could do it.
Everything is easier now. That you think, Manny?
If you're willing to adapt to change, it is easier. But if think about like our parents, immigrant parents, if you tell them get on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, you're right.
You know that. I don't know why I thought about this, but my father, right? Yeah, at some point in time, like because he always buy newspapers, and he was like yo, I don't want to keep paying for newspapers, so can you just like put me online, like on a website? So I'm like, all right. So then I'm showing my father how to like go to the website, and then look, you want to keep reading, you just gotta scroll down. You just put the mouse and scroll it down. And my father was like sweating bullets trying to scroll down.
That is so bad.
That was so hilarious, man. Like I was just dying with laughter, yo. Like, and he was just like he quit after like 30 minutes. But then he got into it again, and I showed him. I was like, you know what? It's not that hard. Look, I got you.
Man, my mother had to book a trip to DR. I gotta be the travel. I'm still the travel agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Oh no, you're gonna be there for life as a travel agent. I do that for a couple of my uncle too. So
Oh yeah,
That is what it is.
one of your uncles finds out that you got him the ticket for whatever.
for mad cheap.
Oh, you're the guy.
They stick to you for life.
Yeah, like,
They got you in the show code right now.
you have an in with American Airlines or something. Yeah.
You know what you should do? It says I was buying from my uncle. I decided to create an account myself so I could get point.
Yeah, that's what I did too. We did the hotels.com
Yeah, because I might as well get point for it. If you're gonna be working for somebody for free, that's kind of messed up.
On
You
them
think?
points. Nah, man. It is what it is, man. Like,
nothing is
Okay,
Yeah,
I
do
think
what
it
you
might sound
gotta
too messed up right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think it gets worse what I did for my father, man. Shout out to my dad.
Hey, newspaper, so you put us out of
Yeah. So now you're in North Carolina. You're living with like with a friend. How do you transition to like what is that you do now? Like, do you have different job, or like how was it that went about?
a lot of different jobs. So like here is hard. It's not like like a lot of the jobs here are warehouse jobs, and especially like not being from here, like I thought that friend was gonna put me on, hook me up, but what I learned in life is all the things that I've done is I put myself on. So yeah, I had a warehouse job out here. If anybody that comes down here down south, you most likely will have a warehouse job at one point while you're figuring it out. There's not many office jobs out here, which is what I came from and what I liked, and where my career in New York was going to, like that managerial
Yeah.
office, kind of like right hand human resources, operations kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing I was doing in New York. So when I got here, I was applying to those positions. So like where I live, there's not many of that. You either gotta like go to the main cities, which is Raleigh, Charlotte, Durham, beautiful cities. But like I'm a New Yorker, so I'm like I'm done with the 1 hour, 2 hour commute. Like why would I move out here to do that?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely did the warehouse thing, and then yeah, my wife gets down here. She gets a really good job in the medical field, and I decided to go to school. I was like, at the time, my cousin was trucking, so my cousin in New York was trucking, and he was making good money, and I was like, man, I'm gonna try the trucking thing. So I went to school out here for trucking, and I did trucking for a bit, because it was, I saw it as the most money I could make,
Yeah.
without necessarily going to like a 2 year, 4 year school or whatever and
Mm-hmm.
specializing in something. So I saw it like not an easy way, because trucking is not easy. So, but I saw it as a way to make a lot of money in a short period of time.
Okay. All right. All right. Cool. And so yeah. So what happened from there?
Yeah, so I left that warehouse job, went to school for trucking, a very good program out of here. I never touched a truck. I didn't even know how to drive stick. So I learned how to drive stick in a semi.
And the 60 wheeler,
Right.
19 wheeler, how you call it, 18 wheelers?
Yeah, in a semi. So it's 12 gears. So
Wow.
it was very difficult. It was I don't think I got it till like the last week of school. That's when I boom, it clicked. So out of school, like your last 2 weeks in school, companies start showing up and they start trying to recruit you, because CDL is very valuable
Yeah.
here, and everybody wants you basically. I ended up getting with a company out of a place called here Mount Airy. Um, and yeah, what I did for them is haul from California back here. We took pickles there and brought back all types of your products, to a supermarket called Harris Teeter's, kind of like the equivalent of like Whole Foods, kind of Trader Joe's.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So,
Public.
so when you travel from North Carolina to California, how many days? Because I think that's a long trip, though.
Yes.
How was it, the commute?
Yeah, I mean, never doing it, and like I said, it was very difficult. So I drove nights, and the guy mainly drove days. My trainer, so you go out there with a trainer, teams, we call it teams. So you split the drive. DOT regulations, you gotta drive certain amount of time, 8 hours, half an hour break, and
Mm.
altogether it has to equal 14 hours before you go rest.
Okay.
So it's very difficult. And it took about like 5.5, 6 days, and that
Wow, man.
also including you stopping. You're at a place that it's not ready to load you, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Man, that's yeah. I know trucking is not an easy a career path, man. But I mean, you make money. You follow where the money goes.
I mean, it
So
depends of what
Yeah, but
company you work to. That's a thing.
I had two things about that though. I did want to make the money, but as an immigrant, like I wanted to see the United States, right?
Mm,
Um, I looked at it as like I'm gonna get paid to see the United States, the whole thing, mostly the whole thing, not most
yeah,
whole thing, but at least from east to west.
yeah, yeah.
I got to see a lot of states and got paid for it.
Okay, so I mean that's good, man. Cause it down the road when you think about that, like it makes it kind of like worth it. Like you give yourself a reason to,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
because
that's dope, man.
like if
Yeah.
you're a Dominican in the Dominican Republic, like you say, yo, I moved to the United States, and let's say you move to, I don't care, Delaware. I don't care where you move. And they're in Dominican Republic, you're like, oh, te fuiste para Nueva York. Like the United States for Dominican Republic, the whole thing is Nueva York.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Like
like,
nah, it's not New York only.
yeah, it's
No,
It's
I think
big.
that's thing with our culture. I think because I'm pretty sure like people that immigrant to Florida. I think the United States, Florida, immigrant that go to California. It's like a lot of people that it sound sad by me saying that people, a lot of immigrants stay in one state.
yeah.
They get used to it and they don't even get the chance to go out. That's the thing. At least when you went to North Carolina, you did it through a friend and found out that's different part of the United States. So like with this background, hopefully we could let people know that even though your parent brought you here, you should once in a while, if you get the chance to travel to other states and to see what's the difference because you might never know. You might find something you like.
Yeah, yeah. No,
America
that's definitely true.
as a whole is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. I know there's a lot of negative things being said about America out there, like, but it's beautiful. It has everything. Like it's if you want to live in, like me, I like mountains. I hiked. Um, I hiked during high school, so one of the reasons why I'm out here is a lot of mountains, very beautiful hiking trails out here. I like river, lakes, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that here. There's a lot of everything looks green, a lot of trees.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying like when I got to New York, it was brick buildings, and it looked the aesthetics to me didn't look like something that fit for me. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
knocking New York. New York has its beauties for the people that probably like you. To you, a building probably looks awesome, great. To me,
Yeah.
building
I mean,
doesn't necessarily look the best to me. No matter, and you're constantly competing with somebody to get a view. So the more money you have, the better view you have, right? In New York, and I don't have that kind of money to compete on that level where I could get a nice view. So here, you just get a nice view everywhere you go. So that's also one of the reasoning why I came out here. When I first came
Mm-hmm.
out here, it was everywhere you go is you take a highway, boom, it's beautiful. Look,
Yeah,
Blue
man. Yeah.
Ridge, like the Blue Ridge Parkway, it's here. It's like 20 minutes from here, and it's beautiful.
So what was the? I mean, talking about because you wanted to drive and see the United States. Was the nicest view you seen while driving while on the road?
The nicest view, kind of Arizona. There was a time where I was driving and they had the like the inflatable balloons festival, like
Mm.
like those balloons that
yeah.
festival where I didn't know this was a thing, but you saw I was driving one time and you saw the balloons coming up in the air, and that was pretty beautiful, Arizona.
But there's a lot. That sounds strange. But there's a lot of them because I seen it on TV. They got a bunch of air balloons. Are you talking the one that people get
Yeah,
inside and
hot air balloon. Yeah,
hot air balloon? Yeah, that's how
Okay.
you say it. Yeah.
hot air balloon.
Wow.
So I got to
Okay.
see
Cool.
that. Tennessee is beautiful. One of my favorite states that I actually, when I ended trucking, I actually went there and experienced Tennessee as a tourist. Gatlinburg is beautiful. Yeah, so definitely Tennessee. My favorite part of going through Tennessee, we will go through the world's. I mean, the biggest Cabela, and it's literally like a pyramid, and you see it from the highway. It looks crazy. It looks beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah. Another thing that was kind of beautiful and kind of like weird to me was driving through Arkansas. They got the rice fields, and one thing I didn't know, and my trainer taught me was United States is the second biggest exporter of rice. And it's weird to me because Americans don't really eat rice. So I was like, what? That was crazy.
That's
Yeah,
funny,
but they're not known. They're more
They're not. Yeah, it's true. We're not known for like. Well, the United States. We're
mashed
not known
potato.
for.
Isn't it more? I think I thought they were
Yeah, like
known
they
for
don't
mashed
sell
potato.
McDonald's, right? And McDonald's,
Burgers,
Yeah.
barbecues.
burgers, hot dogs.
Yeah. All right. So you said, I mean, I know. So you stopped doing trucking. So what? How did you transition to your next thing?
And coming up in the next week episode.
Yeah, it got really tough, but I felt happy about it because I did something that I've never done, and I was very successful at it. So I'm
We can
like,
relate to
okay,
that. Like I said, we were talking about earlier before we started the podcast.
yeah,
Yeah.
obtainable goals, yeah, obtainable, and do what works for you, right? Definitely, and definitely having a plan, always having a plan for something.